for him that well. So getting a mixture of decks, different lineup, might be different here. But I think the players are ready, so we can jump in.
All right, so here we go. Rogue versus Mage. Good old Mech Mage. You know, StrifeCro was the one who first graced us with this glorious and beautiful deck. And, you know, I blame StrifeCro for it, but at the same time, I can't blame him. He's brought us so many cool decks over the course of time, and that's why I'm really excited for Black Rock Mountain, because I want to see what guys like StrifeCro, what guys like Tides can do.
What will be the new aggro deck they actually develop, and the thing that people will hate? Maybe we'll have like a new freeze deck that everybody will hate, you know, and super aggro.
That'll be hilarious. Like, people are like, Priest is so broken. I mean, remember when GVG, prior to coming out, Mage were struggling, dude. Like, people were like saying freeze Mage was the only way you can do it, but even then it was like a cheesy strat because you were hoping that your opponent wouldn't have Warrior in tournaments. Yeah, and then all of a sudden everyone's like regretting Mage. So I look forward to see what people like complain. Like, can you imagine the day people complain about Shaman being on top and Priest? I don't think so.
I can imagine anything. But here, the Mech Mage versus Rogue, it's kind of like an even matchup. A lot of people argue who has an advantage, but it's mostly coming to cards. If Rogue is able to pick up those AoE cards and play some minions when it matters, Rogue might have an advantage. But this specific opening from StrifeCro is really difficult to deal with Snowchugger just freezing and stopping the hero power. Annoyotron stopping a hero power as well. And Tides doesn't have any free drops here, and there is normally a lot of free drops in Rogue decks and Oil Rogue. There is Farseer, SI7, sometimes even Shade of Naxxramas. Nothing is there for Tides. Dude, it will be so hard casting Tides after casting Tides.
Yeah. I can understand your sentiment there. Definitely not easy at all. Tides spending prep and eviscerate, a pretty necessary use, and I think just because you need that weapon to be active to try to threaten like really powerful blade flurries, especially if you have Sarp Sword. The only thing that's difficult is that he doesn't have backstab. That would have been easy, or giving up prep and eviscerate without drawing anything, extremely painful.
Yeah, also if he can actually get the Violet Teacher next turn. So his hand is not that great. He has the Fallen, so he's going to draw at least one more card, maybe picking something up. He needs cards like Azdrake. But StrifeCro is just continuing to develop his board. He also has a pretty nice hand with the Warper. Yeah, that's actually a great card here.
So now he can clear the board. Pilot Shredder will be able to come down while challenging with almost anything that comes out, short of this exact Spider Tank. But even then, anything that comes out afterwards can be contested, which is interesting because if you look at it, you're like, ideally you want to get Mech Warper and like contesting everything out. But it's just like, you don't expect Mech Warper on turn 4 to be making like this type of swing. You have Mech Warper into Spider Tank into a free Clockwork Gnome.
There is some merit in playing Mirror Entity, but the play you mentioned is just too strong. Without this powerful Spider Tank into the 2-1 play, Mirror Entity would be amazing because you know that Thalnos was already played. You've seen Rogue struggling to play minions. So you expect something being played on turn 5. Is it Lothab, Azurdrake, Pilot Shredder? Whatever is getting played, the Mirror Entity could give you a lot of value here. But still, just playing free mechs is amazing.
What usually happens on turn 5, which might make Tides consider how if he kills off his Mech Warper or not?
You do want to kill Mech Warper always, almost. You might expect a Blast Mage being played.
But he still has mechs anyways on the board.
Yeah, I think just killing the Mech Warper is a good way to deal with the hand, because you do stir at 3 cards and a spare part.
Fair enough. Oh my goodness. The Cloaky Finicky, that thing, the spare part.
Yeah.
The Cloak Field. That with the Antonidas is potentially the game ender if StrifeCro can pair damage.
Yeah, there's almost no way to deal with the Stealth Antonidas for Rogue. Like, you really have to have a big Blade Flurry. Still no minions for Tides. It looks really
Yeah.
weird with those buffs. He can't even cast Sprint this turn. So an early opening with no minions and the fact that he had to use preparation to just deal with the aggression.
Oh, I was not anticipating this. Dropping a weapon charge of the hero power and then using the sharp sword oil, so that way you can have a big blade flurry opportunity if you pick up preparation off the sprint. That's pretty clever, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's the thing that Mech Mage is just going to play minions, and you do have sprint, so in the long game you do deal more damage. Also, he really prepared the board right now to get the Violet. Well, whatever he gets, like he's able to clear. Unless
yeah, as long as it's not Doomsayer.
Mana Wraith for the second time today.
Yeah, and Mana Wraith's like inconvenient enough where he has to consider suiciding it.
It's not a bad suicide to deal with the Violet Teacher, so
yeah.
StrifeCro is probably happy with that outcome. But still, look at the health totals. Tides is spending all the resources to deal with the board, and he was able to get to this turn where he is able to sprint, and maybe this will give him the chance to actually win the game, because even if Antonidas is getting played with stealth, StrifeCro won't be able to just win the next turn. Or will he?
It feels really close to it. You do what, 17, 18 damage with that combination? I mean, I can imagine Ty just getting really uncomfortable in his chair the moment this happens. Because like at this point, how do you fight back with that without like sabotage?
Yeah, but look at Tides. Like he has the poker face. He's just smiling there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's real calm right now.
Yeah, Farseer is definitely a good card to play, but then would you just preparation sprint? Did he play Farseer to just play around Counterspell a bit?
Not sure. I'm not sure at all. Like I don't even know if Tides can win. Although, let's see, there's 9 damage on board, 4 cards remaining. I used both Eviscerates and a Blade Flurry, Oil, 2 Deadly Poisons. Yeah, most of the burst of the Rogue deck's gone. I think he's going to be picking up a lot of cards like Fan of Knives and Saps, even if he sprints. So that's not going to be
oil, right?
Yeah, he used 1 oil. He used 2 Deadly Poisons. So I'm thinking that if Tides goes for a big sprint play next turn, he's just going to be picking up Saps and Fan of Knives and other things like SI7 Agent, which is like nice to have, but it's not going to be helping him directly translate into a 2-turn win.
Yeah, the problem is like even if he uses Preparation Sprint to get Oil with Flurry, he still has not enough mana to weapon up Oil. He has to hit the minion that can attack. Well, he will have those minions, but then he can't combo. Yeah, he can combo the Oil. He will just not have enough mana to weapon up Oil and Flurry. Would that even be enough damage? Probably not. This StrifeCro is just unloading damage here, attacking with his minions, and ensuring that the last fireball in his hand is lethal.
Well, it looks to be, even if the board's clear. There's 7 damage next turn. Fan, that was like something that we've expected. 2 Azure Drakes, though. I mean, it's a lot of spell power. I guess he's going to prep sprint first, though. He'd rather just draw anything he can to deal with Antonidas because he still doesn't have a way to easily kill it. Sap is pretty good, but again, symptom of the actual problem here.
Yeah, he still knows the fireball is there and it's lethal. He needed a Farseer. Like with Farseer, he will be able to clear the board and yeah.
It's funny that we're like, yeah, he's got sprints. If he sprints, he's just gonna get Saps, SI7s, and Fans. It's like that's exactly the 6 cards he drew. 2 Fans, 2 sprints, 2 SI7 agents.
That was a good call for them.
Well, I mean, it's just like when you see every other card in the deck, that's pretty much it. Other than that, he was missing like a second backstab, and I don't know, like Lothab. Oh, maybe Lothar would have saved him. Oh, that's maybe why he prepped Sprint. And that makes a lot of sense, actually.
No,
that's probably
actually,
what he was looking for.
Lothar was still lethal because he was at 5. So
you're right. You're
still
right.
needed to heal.
So he needed Farseer and Lothar, but he couldn't prep Sprint and play both, so he was almost guaranteed to die there.
All right, so Tides is losing the game versus StrifeCro. StrifeCro won with a Mech Mage, and
so I guess did they already crown a winner? They're like, well, you know, we're done with that. StrifeCro beat Tides in game number 1, and we're gonna go to RDU versus Gar to wrap up the day. Yeah, it's a small little error, guys. We'll definitely get that fixed up as soon as possible. So yeah, let's go into game number 2 and see what Tides can do to bring this back. Warlock and Hunter remaining. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like Rogue is still pretty strong here. Just because you need to get it out of the way and make sure to win. It seems to be like the Face Hunter and Rogue matchup keeps improving the more I see it. I used to think like it was wildly in favor of Face Hunter, but I think it just requires people to learn how to play a little bit, the matchup.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what are the cards you're looking for as a Rogue versus Face Hunter?
Yeah, you definitely want to have ways to deal with early 2 health minions like the Knife Jugglers or Mad Scientist. Having SI7 agent is also pretty clutch. The big thing is that you can just disassociate yourself from damage. So Fan of Knives is sometimes great. Oh, that's perfect.
Wow.
SI7 agent.
That's a great start for both players. Maybe Explosive Shop not that great for StrifeCro, but then having Leopardome into Hunty Creeper into the Eagle Hornbow or Glaive Zuka is definitely a very powerful start. For Tides having that backstab and coin SI. Maybe even
well, he's got backstab, coin, Van Cleef. That's the big play here. That's what makes this so massive because he knows his opponent needs to have Owl or Bust. So he's going for an 8-8. Or is that a 10-10? No, it's an 8-8, right? Absolutely madness. Love this play from Tides. You recognize the opportunity from the very beginning. And now, it's a 10-10 minion on board. And who's the one being aggressive now? He's got another sap. So if his opponent has some kind of, like, say if he rolled Misha and then this tried to slow down Van Cleef, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, this is actually crazy. It's like Tides is saying, StrifeCro, hey, I can kill you in 3 turns. Can you kill me in 3 turns? But yeah, that's exactly what you said. Like, this is how you know the matchup. You know how to play against this deck. And also the early Leopardome from StrifeCro gave Tides information that, hey, this is a Face Hunter, 100%. So I can go with this play and I can steal a win. It's not even a lucky play. It's just a really a thoughtful line you take to just position yourself to win. Like, what is the way for StrifeCro to even win? Like, 1 Hunter's Mark maybe in his deck. I don't think Face Hunter actually plays Hunter's Mark. The Iron Beak you mentioned is a card that's needed, but well, he has 2 more turns.
Yeah. Pilot Shredder, maybe roll a taunt or Doomsayer? I don't know. Oh man, Farseer. So like, he's got something to do to put more pressure on the board and keep his hand like with the SI7 agent.
I can't believe in this game. Like, what is happening here? What we are witnessing? Like a 10-10 Edwin just finishing Face Hunter in 3 turns. It's like Rogues. It's a statement from Rogue. Say, hey, I'm the fast deck. I have better cards. I can go for Face 2, and I do it better.
I guess he's got a suicide into the Van Cleef. Or I guess the 3/3 makes sense too, since it might be a 2/2 taunt. And that's not a taunt minion. StrifeCro's dead.
Whoa,
and
that was
turn
the only
5.
Moment. Yeah. That was the only
Bluff,
moment where he's like
all it does is take confirmation with the weapon though, right? You just attack with the weapon. There's no way you can miss this. Tides is going to take game number 2. Really quick game. Wow. Love that power move from Tides. The moment he recognized it. It's like, sure, you could go for SI7 agent, but when you have an opportunity to put your opponent on a 3-turn clock so early into the game, it's like Owl or nothing.
Well, whenever you wish for a Frostwolf Grunt from Pilot Shredder being a face hunter, it means you are in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Like as the aggressive face hunter, right? Sometimes you need it if you're playing a little bit slower mid range, but in that scenario, StrifeCro was dead just in 3 turns. I can't believe it. Going into game number 3 now, that rogue is out of the way too for Tides. So we've got Warrior and Warlock versus Druid and Hunter. Not Warrior.
It's like Hunter, Warlock, Hunter,
yeah.
Druid.
Hunter, Druid. And I'm looking at the Druid to be the big weak link here. Just had to make sure that you line up to the best matchup possible. I think Druid deals with Face Hunter a little bit better than it does with mid-range Hunter. Or maybe by a big margin.
It depends on the Druid, but it's really close. But on the other hand, a combo Druid can be good versus Handlock. So if StrifeCro is running Handlock, then a combo Druid can steal that win. It really depends if what cards they get and when BGH is going to show up, a Keeper of the Grove. But most of the time, Druid should be able to deal with the board and then combo out and steal a win. And that's exactly what Tides needs. He needs Druid to win versus Warlock, and then maybe Druid to win versus Hunter, or his Hunter to win versus both of them. Well, actually with one. Whoever can win a game with any of his decks is going to lose this match. But still, those guys are tied, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, so then if I guess it's a 50-50 at this point then. It's like, if you play Hunter and you're trying to run into his Druid, if you're trying to run into his... Yeah, if you're trying to run into his Druid, then then he might anticipate that and play Hunter again and go for the Hunter Mirror. And if you're expecting that your Warlock's good against Hunter, that because say you have a lot of anti-aggro similar to Dog, then you would go for that too. I'm curious to see what kind of Demon Handlock StrifeCro would bring, or is he going to go for more of the regular Handlock? Because I know that StrifeCro was the guy hitting #1 Legend playing the Demon Handlock deck, right?
Yeah. Well, for now it seems like it's a regular Handlock. We don't see any demons yet, but he can be running Voidcaller and Jirax's Mal'Ganis. Jirax is played in a normal handlock as well. So Tides gets the matchup he wanted. He gets his Druid versus handlock, and he is playing a combo one, or is it more ramp? We can see Piloted Sky Golem being a recent addition to Druid decks.
Yeah, it's typical Tides. He's sort of a greedy player, I think. He likes to go for those big, heavy-hitting minions. Piloted Sky Golem, Sneasel Shredder, Justera. If there's a player that I would say like, if you said like, hey, Tides put a Nefarian in his deck for next week's tournament, I'd be like, oh, that sounds about right. Like it's just that's the kind of guy he is. And it's not a bad thing at all. It's really cool. In fact, you get to see its competitive viability because everyone's like, yeah, well, why not play, Mally Ghost like you said, just for the reasons that you mentioned,
It only shows that he is not afraid of playing cool cards. I've seen Tides after the GVG release. Tides was playing Colpet, and he wanted to make Colpet work. It didn't work, but he really spent a lot of time to try and make it work. By the way, the Hellfire top deck is massive here. You can
wow. This is pretty nuts. Hellfire will be allowing him to clear everything.
And draw a card from Mortal Coil as well.
Yep. Pretty effective.
He cleared everything, even his own minion. But yeah, for Tides, turn 5, Druid, I'm definitely happy. He dropped, even though his board got cleared, then StrifeCro dropped a bit, and Tides is still the one having initiative here. There's no Giant. He was able to deal with the Twilight Drake easily because of the Keeper. So now just he can play whatever he wants and keep accumulating cards. Dr. Boom is a very powerful card versus Handlock as well. There's a Voidcaller, so that's a Demon Lock-ish.
Yeah, I had to imagine it's got Mal'Ganis, the Infernal Dread as well, the Dreadnought Fiddle, and then the Jiraxis, right? I don't think they're playing too many other demons. It's just really normal to cut the Mountain Giants if you're StrifeCro, and then go for other things instead.
I like the Infernal Dread, by the way. The Infernal Dread of Dread Infernal from StrifeCro's Demon Lock deck is really dreadful, infernally.
Oh, God. Oh, gosh. All right, well. moving on from there. Two Ancient Watchers. Yeah, just trying to set up the wall, be as defensive as possible, buy time, so that way you can have a strong Dr. Boom.
Well, there is a swipe though. So Tides decides to go for Pilot the Sky Golem, but he had other options as well. Like swiping this could deal with the with both Watchers and the Taunt Wall, but then you want to keep swipe as a finisher as well. To just get the damage in. They play the Moltons, they taunt them up, and then you swipe face. So keeping swipe here was an option as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, this is one of the, before the Dr. Boom came out, it's one of the safest boards that you could ask for 3 minions to already be on your opponent's side. 2 Ancient Watchers who can't attack. Now the problem persists of like, well, how do I deal with this? I have spell power up.
Oh man, look at those bombs. They can't kill the Sky Golem. If they kill the Sky Golem, it's in...
Those were
nice.
The worst bombs ever. And let's see what Tides gets off this drop. And enhance them. Wow. That was piloted shredder status.
It's okay.
You think so?
But those bombs were so important. Like Tides could lose the 4 health minions. That's why the bombs were so powerful.
No, that's a very good point. He definitely was on the better end of that exchange. It's just that you normally expect the Sky Golem to drop like a 4/4 of stats equivalent, or like 8 stats, not 5. Yeah. That's almost pathetic. You hear that, Enhancer Mechano? You're pathetic. You should feel bad.
Well, and he didn't buff any minions.
No. That's how I talk to my cards sometimes if I'm tilting.
Do they respond back?
No, they do what I tell them to do.
Okay.
Except for Ragnaros.
You know, because if they start talking to you, better see a doctor.
Yeah. Dr. Boom seems pretty reasonable. When else would you drop it if your opponent's loading up bigger minions? You're not threat of dying, and the Sludge Belcher gets contested pretty easily. And if he exchanges into the Enhancer mechanic, and then you can trade the boom bots in for some good bounces. Not to mention, it's more bodies. If your opponent ignores it and you have Savage Roar drawn, and then you can go for a combo with 3 bodies on board.
Yeah, it's a very powerful play. Then again, showing how powerful Boom is. Because it's not like you always want to play it. You want to consider your options. And Tides did have the coin and could play like Druid of the Claw, Keeper. But then you want to keep Keeper for the final silence, let's say. If there is a taunt, you want to silence it, and then you want to go for phase and win the game. Druids of the Claw can be played as charge as well, which is important. So Tides has a lot of damage potential. Just also keeping the coin like for turn 10, where you just are able to play Force of Nature and Druid of the Claw on the same turn for 11 mana. And,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well... this is a little awkward because like the Dread Infernal, like you normally want to try and pop everything. Looks like he's gonna go instead for the safer play. Totally do not blame him for this. Just because the boom bots, man. If they destroyed you, you'd be in a bad mood. Oh, he plays Loatheb instead. Okay, fair enough.
To stop the combo.
Yeah,
because
stop the
combo can be lethal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there is a lot of cards in Tide's hand. I like the Infernal play, though. Maybe not the best play, but I would like to see it, to see the bombs being triggered and everything getting killed. So now, it seems like StrifeCro is still in a bad position here. He doesn't have an AoE. He only can play minions. Those minions are not that great. Can the Boombot kill Lotheb?
Well, we'll see. Does he dream big? He does.
Whoa.
Still,
so
like, this is the point in which every handlock player hates being against Druid. Is like, no matter what you do, you're in the range where you're just constantly worried about dying to that just huge burst.
Yeah, also StrifeCro has no spells. No spells at all in his hand, only minions. Is this the thing with the Demon Lock, that you do cut spells to be able to get those Dread Infernals and Morganis and Void Callers? And then you end up with no spells in the end.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually don't know.
I think you do cut a couple of spells, but Well, StrifeCro was mostly using spells in the other turns. Like almost every turn there was a spell. Right now, what he can do is not much. Just assume that your opponent doesn't have the combo and his hand is full of coin, wild growth, and violet teacher cards, and just go for the best play looking at the board.
The problem is, like, can he truly play around it? There's still a lot of minion damage on the board. And, like, you can't develop anything else, too, that doesn't immediately be defensive, because he might have part of the combo, you know, like a Druid of the Claw Savage Roar. So you're still in a very awkward spot. And now this is where Druid can really leverage its position. Like, what you need is big power play cards like Sylvanas Shadow Flame or something.
Yeah, exactly. For StrifeCro. And for Tides is a really good position where he was 7 damage of lethal, but you just can continue. Like, when your opponent thinks so long and plays Belcher and Healbot, it's really saying clearly that he is in trouble. So basically, you just continue the same strategy you had. Just clear the board, put them in the same shoes next turn, or even worse position because you do have more minions. So it's Shadow Flame or bust.
Yeah, I guess so. But we're looking more like bust here because he needs every single point of mana he can afford at the moment. And there's 16 damage on board, so there's a strong likelihood, you know, swipe plus the force of nature would be enough to kill him.
Yeah, but even with Shadow Flame, the Pirate Shredders would get some minions in.
It's just that you would steal one, so I don't know what you would take.
How much damage Dice has? 24? 24, I think.
Yeah, 24 with the Keep of the Grove. Unless he Wild Grows into Savage Roar. If he Wild Grows into Savage Roar, that's lethal. That's 16 plus 10 already on board, so that's 26.
Is there any reason not to take the risk to draw the Savage Roar?
I feel like there isn't, just because if you want to develop something else instead, then if you want to develop something else instead, you still be able to put out like Keeper plus Shade next round. I don't think the hero power really matters.
I like how this game is mostly about minion trading. It's not about getting the combo or, you know, specific set of cards. It's all about simple trades and getting the best out of it. Now the Void Caller is always weird. Do you attack into it or do you keep it on board? Like, how do you deal with this?
You just need Shadow Flame. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he gets Shadow Flame.
He Shadow Flames, and if he does, well, he gains a little bit of traction. It's actually not as good as it was with Sylvanas. Sylvanas was huge. He would have been able to maybe steal with something on the board.
I'm thinking, is there any merit in life tapping, trying to get a demon?
The problem is he already has another demon, right? He has Void Caller number 2, so if he like Shadow Flames it, there's a chance he just pulls out another Void Caller and that just sits there.
What about? I'm just thinking, like, is there a way to juggle those demons? Attack with your Void Caller into the 4/6. If you get Infernal, you can Shadow Flame. If you get Infernal, you basically play Void Caller and then Shadow Flame Void Caller and get Mulganis. If you get that Mulganis, that's why I said like it might be cool to tap into Demon. But then maybe he needs a bigger Shadow Flame.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. He just has to go for it and hope that there's not a lot of damage popping out of these Shredders. And about average result. About average result. And that's the wrong combo piece. That is the wrong one. You need something else.
Stager would be lethal. So Tides just needs to continue playing minions, and killing the Void Caller is not an option.
Yeah. Oh gosh. StrifeCro. Oh, okay. Actually,
The Hellfire, he can clear again.
sort of. So if you
Yeah.
suicide into Sylvanas and then
And
Hellfire
then he loses
steals,
Void Caller to Sylvanas.
yeah. But he gets to play a really cheap Molten Giant.
Maybe he can tap still.
Yeah. Okay, so if
There is a risk of getting a bigger demon and then getting the demon stolen by Sylvanas. I'm not sure if Iron Beagles are in this deck, really.
there's one. There's usually one.
Oh, and he actually gets it. Wow, this is huge.
Does that give him? Is that perfect? I mean, does that work mana wise? You owl Hellfire and then you play the giant for one, right?
And you also get a Void Caller.
Yeah, you also get a Void Caller. A 3/1 Void Caller.
Whoa, that was huge. Getting a total switch of the game. But then Tides is double force, and he needs a Salvador to win.
Right. Swipe would also be lethal. Oh wait.
Oh, he actually.
Wait. Okay. So yeah, it's still swipe lethal. Savage War lethal. Lothab is not lethal.
But now Tides has to deal with this Molten Giant because he got down to 11.
Yeah.
So Jirax to stop deck. If no hero power. This is getting tricky. Well, this game is definitely going in a direction I didn't expect.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, like this game has been hanging in limbo for so long. Like I was expecting Tides to be able to press the game and end it out, but he might just die on the backswing. That's really funny.
It's all about the fact that
to heal. Yeah, he goes for it. That's what he has to do.
Well, he knows that this Molten Giant is not going to kill him.
Wait, he doesn't attack into it for cheaper giants. Okay.
StrifeCro can't play the BGH. Zombie Chow not the card yet.
Well, like, it's something for semblance of board control.
Well, he can play it and silence it.
Oh yeah, I guess that's one way. It's pretty cute. Play your own Zombie Chow and silence it afterwards.
You just go all in. I mean, you have to kill the 5/5 because you know that Force is a real threat and a possibility.
Yeah.
Does StrifeCro go all in? He can't play BGH, but because you do have to target your own giant there. That's BGH. It's very powerful. How do you call it? Like, is it a minority complex? Like, you play BGH and he kills everything that's taller than him?
No, it's... Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. I don't know. You could call it a inferiority complex, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or Napoleon syndrome or something like that. Toshli is so interesting because I've been seeing a lot of druids really experiment with this, but I have yet to see him like truly impress. And maybe it could be one of those consistency things where like he's really good on average, but sometimes he doesn't have a big impact.
Yeah, like I would like Toshli getting a freeze would be amazing, but then Tides can't take his chances here. He needs to deal with this giant. I guess you do kill
Zombie Chow.
Yeah, because you can deal with the owl easily next turn, and they deal more or less the same damage. And you don't expect burst from Handlock at this point.
StrifeCro's just looking for Draxus at this point, so that way he can put himself 15 and start threatening.
Mulganis.
Oh, well, that's probably the next best thing, right?
Yeah, especially because you've seen One Force of Nature, and right now StrifeCro to die. Oh, there is Savagery, but this is not lethal anymore. Because you have to deal with Mulganis first. And that's spending your resources. So does Tides consider dying here?
I
guess he does, because if there's a Jirax's top deck next turn, he's dead. He might.
But that's a second combo. Yeah, he's got to do it, man. Gotta do what you gotta do. But, you know, you still got some direct damage, right? You still got cards like Swipe.
He used one, so...
Right. So, I mean, it's all about how can you count down from that damage.
The problem is if there's Draxes now, that would be so huge.
Because I mean, there's not that many cards remaining. Look how many cards are left in the deck.
Yeah, the deck is getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah, big game hunter and taunts seems like the best course of action here.
Defender Vargas being quite powerful.
Yep.
We've seen double Molten, or did we see like one Molten? I think one Molten actually. Yeah, he played one Molten. There is a Swipe. Swipe with spell power. Nice. Alright, so StrifeCro really needs something good here. Twilight Drake might help. Or not really, because there is a Wrath. Wrath is going to deal 4 points of damage, and Twilight Drake is going to be a small one. So I think that's it.
Yeah, that's opportunity for him to finally push through. I mean, this game was so back and forth that StrifeCro, like, he was trying to stabilize for a long time, but that's kind of what Druid does. He's almost out of cards, too. And Draxus was the second to last card he needed. Oh, man. Really tight, but looks like Tides is going to win this one.
It's really funny because like StrifeCro wanted to get the Draxus earlier and he couldn't find it, where Tides was looking for Savage Roar for the longest time. And when he finally got Savage Roar, he couldn't finish the game. So that was a very interesting Druid versus Handlock. Even though it seemed like Druid has an advantage in this matchup, still StrifeCro was able to play it really well and it survived more than I expected.
Yeah, cool stuff. So now Tides won with Druid, which we thought was going to be one of the scariest limiting factors, considering that Warlock can be really good against Druid through the tempo, and then the Hunter is just problematic to deal with in general. Like, you always feel like you can lose to it. So that leaves his Hunter versus the Handlock and the other Hunter. What kind of Hunter is Tides going to play? Most likely Face Hunter, in my opinion. I haven't really seen Tides talk favorably about the mid-range Hunter for a long time. So that's what I'm anticipating.
Yeah, I'm anticipating the same. And we already know that StrifeCro is playing the Face Hunter. So are we going to jump into a mirror match, or is StrifeCro going to face the Hunter with his Handlock? What do you think the matchup is right now? Because we've seen Colento and other players also win versus Face Hunter with Handlock. With the heal bot, I don't think it's that bad anymore.
Yeah, I guess not. It depends on. It really does depend on draws, though. Sometimes you really draw like awkwardly, and then all you can do is really be super defensive with like Ancient Watcher, and then you just cross your fingers, and then they just get like Glaive Zuko, which helps them push through barely with like Haunted Creepers. And it's like so annoying to deal with because of Knife Jugglers too. I generally hate playing it on the Handlock side. I never feel good about it.
All right, I think the players are ready, so we can jump into the game.
All right, so let's do it. Game 4, Tides could take it from this point on, and we're going to go to a Hunter Mirror. And StrifeCro says, this is probably my best chance to win. He's on the coin, but the most important thing is Tides is going first, and he has a 1-drop. But he has an interesting 1-drop. Web Spinner's not a card that you normally expect to see if it's aggressive. You want to see the best damage per mana spent, and Web Spinner is not that.
Web Spinner can signal that it's a mid-range Hunter, because it is being played in mid-range. It's not in a Face Hunter. But then I'm super happy seeing double Leper Gnome. StrifeCro, please don't mulligan them.
Yeah, and if you can get a better follow-up to this Web Spinner, Haunted Creepers, Animal Companions. Okay, so Hunter's Mark really heavily implies it's mid-range then, right?
Yeah, that's that really seems like a mid-range, especially with Hunter Creeper is actually a card that's being played in both. The matchup is good for StrifeCro. Face Hunter is better here. It depends like what happens on board, but more or less the both decks they race, and Face Hunter has more tools to race. Because if Tides is not able to stabilize with cards like a Slash Belcher or even Pilot the Shredder, he is going to lose the game. Having the Unleash the Hounds might be
Unleash the Hounds
important
is
here,
really
but the
big.
Worgen again.
Yeah, but you're doing damage right back. So eventually you just like trade the dogs in, and then you attack, and then the Worgen Infiltrator will get taken care of. Unless you want to put more damage on the board. So that you use your Haunted Creeper instead. But then you're more vulnerable to a board clear from Explosive Trap. So I like keeping the spiders here.
Yeah, I like keeping the spiders as well. And Unleash the Hounds is a great card to counter the early aggression from the Face Hunter. But then again, it's a really tough matchup because it's a race, and Face Hunter is just better at racing than Midrange Hunter.
Yeah. Not to mention that on the off chance that you pick up Houndmaster, you can use it on a slightly higher health minion. Oh, Huffer. Huffer's a lot of damage. There is an easy trade, though, with the Direwolf Alpha or a Hunter's Mark.
There's a Savannah Hymen for Tides, but Savannah Hymen is one of the worst cards in the matchup. You're not able to play it. Like, StrifeCro can just close his eyes and go for face. And then he wins overall with hero power. He still has that Unleash the Hounds as well.
Yeah, that's the big thing. He needs to be able to pick something up off tracking. He gets a second Unleash? Or is that... No, that was the draw. So we're still in the middle of like finding out what he needs. If it's Kill Command, that's definitely one of his better options. He picks Arcane
Golem. Yeah, it's not bad. Also, this deck mostly runs Leroy as well, which is making Unleash the Hounds a better card. Explosive Trap, another thing that's making this matchup better for the Face Hunter, because the Freezing Trap that Midrange is running is not that scary. You just, get the dog back in your hand, or like Wolf Rider, where Explosive Trap is not only clearing the board, but also advancing the damage count. There is a taunt. Misha is important.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like... Oh, that Misha is actually really big. Gains him 4 health. I'm trying to figure out like how StrifeCro can win, or how Tides can win in like 3 turns if possible. But can he buy 3 turns? And I think Lotheb might be one of the keys. And it really depends on if he runs like Houndmaster, or if this Pilot Shredder is able to give him some more time as well. There are possibilities you can get off the taunts, assuming it needs to trade. You've got Vitality Totem, you've got Unstable Ghouls, you've got
Frostwolf Grunts.
Yeah, Frostwolf Grunt, Noyotron. So there's a handful. There's like 5 or 6 minions that will be definitely coming in handy. That's still just 10% odds. I still like StrifeCro's position as long as he's making sure to weave in hero powers and not fall too far behind.
Also, StrifeCro can just play the Pilot Shredder now. I really like the addition of Pilot Shredders to Face Hunters. I'm not sure who did that first. I saw it at Sixo stream at some point. And it really advances the deck, because you do have the very powerful turn 4 play that helps to stay alive. And what Face Hunter is struggling with is the card draw. You mostly don't have the cards to be able to... you just top deck at some point. And Pilot Shredder is a card that generates a lot of board advantage.
Yeah. Assuming it goes well and doesn't drop like a cap. Well, I guess Captain's Pair is not so bad. Novice Engineer is what you don't want, right?
Yeah.
Man, I guess you drop Lotheb here to shut down any possibility of spells. You're going to be killing him next turn, right? Because you have enough damage.
Yeah, with Kill Command, certainly. It seems like StrifeCro run out of steam, and then Tides is in a very good spot, especially after Lotheb.
Oh, man. Somewhat hard to believe that he has to rely on a really big juggle or Doomsayer. Right? Is that his only chance?
It might be. Arcane Golem into Doomsayer will be deadly. How much damage is there without Doomsayer, let's say? It's 8, 10. There's a Beast.
No clue, but I know that StrifeCro needs to stop the damage. The alternative is to play like no, there really is no alternative. I was like knife juggler and hope it juggles onto the low theb. That's really
Actually,
poor as well.
StrifeCro can possibly ignore the situation and go for face. Because not really go for face. Like maybe just play juggler and pilot shredder, and assume that there is no cool commands, and assume that there is nothing that deals basically 2 damage from hand, right? Because right now
Right.
on board it's like 15. So
Well,
sometimes
it's yeah. He can have bow though, right? Bow would be lethal. Like there's just so many ways that you could die. But
yeah,
no,
but
looks
it looks like that's it. But the decision was correct because sometimes you just have to. If there's no way to win if you're defensive and like face hunter, if you kill pilot or shredder, whatever they get, they can still like kill you. So going for the doomsayer is less likely than going for a chance that they are not going to get 1 point of damage in 3 cards, like 2 they had in hand and 1 top deck card.
yeah, sure. I like how Tides was able to curve out really nicely. It just shows you that mid-range hunter can still beat the face hunter. Everyone assumes it's one or the other. And that wraps up the third series of the day. Tides takes out StrifeCro pretty quick. That that Druid versus Handlock game was pretty nuts back and forth. I definitely recommend going back and watching that if you want to study up on some play. Outside of that, though, I'm pretty happy that Tides was able to take a much-needed win. I know he was feeling down about Via game last weekend, so being able to defeat a player as good as StrifeCro is a pretty good big W in my book.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's an important win. And they are my teammates. They play against each other a lot because they are like our players from NA, so they play test against each other. So I'm sure they know each other's preferences, and they want to prove each other in the competitive scenario as well. Just at the tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be it for this series. We got another one coming up. We've got who do we have, Nipsh?
So the next match, I believe, is Gara versus RDU, and I'm really hyped for that match. The guys who won DreamHacks, the Gara DreamHack Bucharest winner, second place second DreamHack Bucharest, and RDU the winner of DreamHack Summer. That will be an amazing match.
Sounds good. So we'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere.